You Can't Take It With You was Frank Capra's third Best Director win at the Academy Awards in 5 years. But it also won Best Picture, which is why we are covering it today on the Golden Hour Film Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Film Podcast. Welcome to Academy Classics Volume 2. My name is Harry Bailey. I am joined by my co-host, not guest host, Shane Mulvaney. Shane, how are you going into another month, once again, of covering Best Picture winners?
Yeah, I'm really excited. We're going to be checking off a few big names, big movies that certainly I hadn't seen. I don't think any of them actually. So I
Oh,
always,
nice.
I don't think I'd seen any of them. So
This is the only one I had seen.
yeah. So I always say that the reason the main reason I wanted to do this podcast is to kind of give me an excuse and a reason to actually check a lot of these big name movies
Yeah.
off. And so this month is right up my alley when it comes to that stuff. And obviously the legend that is Frank Capra back on the podcast. So great start to the month, I'd say.
Yeah, obviously legendary Frank Capra as well as legendary Jimmy Stewart. It is their first collaboration, would you believe? And this film features, if you include, I literally nabbing this from IMDb trivia, but I just love this fact. If you include Jimmy the Crow, this film features 13 actors who would also be in It's a Wonderful Life. That is some harmony on set right there. Yeah, also love that the Crow managed to get a role in both films. This film is gonna be a fun one to try and describe because there's so many like characters involved. But let's just say first and foremost, I don't know if you agree with me. Before we get into our spoiler-free review, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, that would be amazing. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube as soon as possible. And if you want to leave a like on this episode, that would also be great. But before we get into like a spoiler-free review, can we just talk very quickly about how unbelievably class Lionel Barrymore is in this film?
Oh yeah,
Because like that guy, for those of you who don't know, had like literal crippling arthritis, couldn't stand, and had to have painkillers injected into him on the hour on set, and still turned in just a very Frank Capra character performance.
yeah,
Like he is just he's sick of the system and he just wants to live life the way he wants to live life. But his performance is unbelievable. Don't get me wrong, Jimmy Stewart is very good in this film. Similar to last week with the Philadelphia Story, I like him a lot in this film. But that being said, it's not my absolute favorite Jimmy Stewart performance or character or anything. But wow, Lionel Barrymore, what a powerhouse performance. Obviously, probably most famous for being Mr. Potter in
yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life. But like in this film, he absolutely blows pretty much everyone out of the water, I feel. Although Edward Arnold is also very,
He's
very
good.
good opposite him. He's very, very good.
I agree. No, but yeah, Lionel Barrymore, like obviously he's an actor and he's far from the only actor where this is the case, but it could not be more of a polar opposite character to Mr. Potter. Like Mr. Potter is
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
such a capitalist, such a mean spirited, obviously character. He doesn't care about anyone in the community. He just wants his personal wealth and his personal goals to be furthered and to be increased. Whereas, yeah, Mr. Sycamore in this, or sorry, Mr. Vanderhop in this, I should say,
Yeah.
very much the opposite. Very much like he was previously. It comes out he was previously kind of someone who was motivated by money, by kind of by wealth, and by obviously a decent standing in life. But he's as he's gotten older, he's just become a community leader, very beloved by the community, but also someone who is just railing against the system in his own way, his own unique way. So very much the exact opposite of Mr. Potter in It's a Wonderful
Yeah.
Life. So it shows his range, and yeah, fair play to him because, like you said, he had all those very significant health issues to contend with as well. So the fact that he even managed to put in a performance as good as this, yeah, major props to him.
This is also somehow the podcast debut of Jean Arthur.
Yeah, she's a legend. She's one of my favorite old Hollywood actresses. Oh, she's a legend.
Yeah, she was in Shane.
Yeah, she was actually.
But yeah, this we'll get into a spoiler-free review, and then I will try my best I will ask Shane what this is all about, and then I will try my best
Yeah.
to at least give a single piece of information about all of the kind of main players in the Vanderhoff house, because there's so many people in that house. But first and foremost, it's time for our spoiler-free review. This is the second time I had seen this film. It is, of course, I know I mention it a lot, but like, it's Frank Capra. This is, of course, in the Frank Capra at Columbia collection I have. This is turning out to be one of my better purchases. I won't lie. Feel like I reference that box set a lot, and it is a great box set, considering how many films you get in it, and like how hard a lot of them are to find. And yeah, as I said, it has You Can't Take It With You in it. Frank Capra, bit of context, 1930s, him at Columbia, killing it. Put out so many amazing films, and this is definitely for me like an upper mid tier Frank Capra film. I wouldn't have it as like one of his absolute all time best, but like when you put it in there with like his absolute all time bests that he was putting out in the 30s as well, it just further cements how insane his run was in the 30s. It is also, as I mentioned already, his third best director win in 5 years. Like, that is some serious motion, my good sir. That is crazy. He also got best director for Mr. Deeds Goes to Town and It Happened One Night. And yeah, he also would have Mr. Smith Goes to Washington come out the following year. And then It's a Wonderful Life come out not that much longer later, and Meet John Doe and Arsenic and Old Lace. Like, what a crazy. But yeah, overall, very much enjoyed this. It's such a Frank Capra film. It is fuck the system, fuck the 9 to 5, live your best life, do what makes you happy. And yeah, for that reason, it is a perfect switch it on, put a smile on your face, old-timey Frank Capra sentimentalist film, shall we say. If you like Frank Capra, if you like Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, you will like this. I would say that both of those films are better than this, but like, this is still a very, very enjoyable film. And I think Lionel Barrymore is an early contender for Best Supporting Actor already this year.
Yeah.
Because I think it's safe to say that Jimmy Stewart is the lead actor in this film. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I think we have an early contender for Best Supporting Actor already. Shane, what about you? This is your first time seeing You Can't Take It With You.
Yeah, I had a similar experience to this as I did with It's a Wonderful Life, to be honest, which was I did enjoy it. I wouldn't say, and obviously It's a Wonderful Life is like a holiday classic, Christmas classic, so it's not quite on the same level. But obviously this has the reputation of, like you said, being the best picture winner, being a best director winner for Frank Capra. Um, yeah, I probably expected a little bit more, if I'm honest. I enjoyed it. It's a good movie. I very much did. Like, it's a good 2 hours, and especially the last 30 to 35 minutes, I'd say. It really, once they kind of get to jail and everything that happens from there on, which obviously we'll come to. I think from there, that's the movie firing on all cylinders, and that's when the conflicts really kind of get pushed to 10, and where everything is just kind of resolved in a very satisfying way towards the end. But like I said, that's where the conflict and also the comedy really does pay off, in my opinion. So yeah, I enjoy Jimmy Stewart in this. I think Jean Arthur is great in everything I've seen her in. She's definitely, like I said, one of my favorite old Hollywood actresses. Uh, Amazing performance from Lionel Barrymore. Really good performance from Edward Arnold, and yeah, the performances and the direction, like you said, it's your quintessential Frank Capra kind of themes, which is Yeah, it's all about kind of community values, and it's all about kind of being there for each other, and it's all about yeah, it's all about kind of do what makes you happy, like you said. Don't do what life or your family or your kind of status in society says that you should say.
Hmm.
So that's all admirable, and yeah, and I enjoyed the movie. Um, Even if I wanted to like it a little bit more than I did.
Perfect. Well, I think it's time we get into some more spoilerific reviews of this film. Shane, I'm going to ask you a question that I've asked you once or twice before. What's it all about?
Yeah, so it's about Tony Kirby, who's played by Jimmy Stewart, whose dad AP Kirby. It's like this big kind of venture capitalist government, obviously capitalist. He's the director of a big company, and turns out his company is getting a huge government munitions contract, which essentially they'll be manufacturing and selling arms to the government, arms, equipment, all that stuff. So essentially, they'll be profiteering off of war, pretty
Hmm.
much. So that's not great. But yeah, so Tony's obviously in the family business. His dad wants him to kind of take over long term. He sees him stepping into his shoes. The only problem is Tony's fallen in love with his secretary, Alice Sycamore, who's obviously played by Jean Arthur. And he goes to visit her and sees that she has quite an eccentric family, but he's into it.
Oh,
He
yeah.
quite likes the fact that they're kind of all individualistic, and it's a different, it's a change of pace, as I like to say. It's a change of pace from what he's usually used to. But the conflict comes when he tells his parents that he is going to be marrying Alice Sycamore, and they go to, they're obviously not too happy about it. They say that she's just a secretary, he needs to be aiming higher. But um, they go to visit the Sycamores and the Vanderhops and this whole community, and just to see is she good enough for their beloved son, and is this community good enough? And yeah, from there, I'd say yeah, it doesn't exactly go to plan.
Yeah, so as you said, she's got a pretty eccentric family. So, right, we have obviously Alice Sycamore. She works for Tony Kirby, played by Jean Arthur. She is the love interest. She is definitely the most normal member of that
Yeah,
family. Then you have Martin Vanderhoff, who is played by Lionel Barrymore, who kind of the family's mantra kind of stems from him. He one day was working a 9 to 5, got in the lift, went up, didn't get out of the lift, went back down, walked out, and never worked in that place again. And he's basically been living his life. He's a philatelist. He collects stamps, and he grades stamp collections. But he doesn't pay income tax because he doesn't believe in it, and he just lives life the way he wants to. He's taken up the harmonica as well. You've got Boris Kalenkov, who's this Russian guy, a former wrestler turned dance teacher, who is teaching Alice's sister, Essie, played by none other than Anne Miller, who you may know as being in none other than Mulholland Drive. Yeah, apparently she didn't know how to dance, and she didn't have dance shoes, so she just annihilated her toes by standing on her tippy toes, and was constantly crying when she wasn't on camera. And Jimmy Stewart had no idea what she was crying because she was only like 15. So every time she was crying, he would just run to the shop and get her a load of sweets and give them to her and be like, "I've no idea why you're crying, but here's a load of sweets." And apparently that worked. So
like it does on most
good
kids,
for
in
her.
fairness.
Yeah, very Jimmy Stewart thing to do as well, I feel like.
Yeah,
Um, then you got Penny Sycamore, who is the sister of is the mom of Alice and Essie. She one day a typewriter was delivered to the house by accident, and ever since she's been a playwright. That is
yeah,
that is her whole thing. Then you've got Paul Sycamore, the father of Alice, who I was gonna say invents fireworks. No, he makes fireworks in their basement. Then you've got Mr. Poppins, played by a very like familiar Frank Capra side character, Donald Meek. I feel like he's in like every Frank Capra film. He was working for the Kirby's until, and we see this, Vanderhoff goes in one day and sees him and sees that he like created this toy where like this bunny like jumps out and like goes back in again, and he's like, why do you not do this as your profession? Like, why do you work slaving away at a typewriter? Why don't you do what you love? And somehow, uh yeah, Mr. Poppins does in fact drink the Kool-Aid and come home with Vanderhoff and end up in the house too. He's inventing his gizmos, his gadgets, and his masks in the basement as well. Then you've got Reba and Donald, who are an African American couple who basically work in the house. I don't know. I guess that's like a social thing, because like surely if they wanted to live the life they wanted to, they wouldn't be cleaning up after everyone.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the late 30s. That being said, there's like a really funny scene where Donald has to get groceries for like a big event, and he keeps like remembering that he forgot to get a certain thing, and he keeps
Yeah.
like sprinting full pelt through the scene to get back out to the shop again. It's very funny. I don't think I've missed anyone. I think that's all those mad bastards in that house. Yeah, they're insane, crazy, crazy family. But oh, I did actually, of course. You've the husband, Ed Carmichael.
Yeah.
He plays the marimba.
Yeah, he does actually.
That's all I have for you on Ed. He is married to Essie, the sister of Alice. I've tried to, yeah, that's everyone in that absolute madhouse. So you can imagine now all the hijinks that ensue every time these prim and proper venture capitalists come over for like a meeting of the parents type thing. Because that's very much what this builds up to at the beginning. Is Tony partially doesn't really care what his parents think, but partially I think also is has a bit of a chaotic streak in him, that he definitely feels more like the people in the Vanderhoff family than his own
Yeah.
family. So he wants them to see life lived this way. Whereas his parents, as I said, his dad played by Edward Arnold, who I think is very good in this. He's Anthony AP Kirby, and the mom, who is just like an absolute raging bitch in this film. They eventually do come over to the house, and they come over a day early,
Yeah.
which is by Tony's design, because he didn't want the family to be like putting on a charade and pretending to be
Yeah.
people they weren't for them. So he decided to spring up on them a day early, where they're doing all the mad stuff you can imagine they're doing, the bunch of psychopaths. And yeah, one of my favorite gags in this is just that Boris just attitude adjustments the dad, like just literally picks him up and dunks him on the ground as soon as he gets wind that he at one point wrestled in college, which is very funny. But yeah, the beginning of this film is oh, will they, won't they meet the parents? They do meet the parents, and then things go, yeah, as you said, things just don't go according to plan for the majority of this film, especially
Yeah,
for the young lovebirds, Alice and Tony.
very much so. And we should also say that there's a secondary kind of plot, which is that the Kirby's and the Kirby company is
Yeah,
buying up a lot of houses, because obviously they're going to use this land and essentially knock them all down and build whatever the hell they're going to build
build a
there. And
factory. Yeah,
yeah, build a factory. Um, so they managed to kind of persuade pretty much everyone in this town, but there's only one holdout, and they don't know who this holdout is. But obviously, towards the end of the film, we find out it is Mr. Vanderhoff. Spoiler alert.
yes,
And that's when we get the big kind of confrontation and massive blowout in the prison. But obviously before that, like I said, they meet the Sycamores and are absolutely appalled by what they see as their kind of socially awkward, socially weird kind of they just don't fit what they see and what they view as should be as presentable kind of
hmm
family for obviously for Tony Jr. Or for Tony to marry into and for to marry into their own family. But then we get this whole kind of thing where the IRS, the IRS show up, and yeah, because the Vanderhoffs take a fairly lax view towards towards paying taxes, I'd say, and so yeah, they
Yes,
obviously
don't believe in them.
no, just don't believe it. So yeah, a bunch of they arrive and they arrest everyone in the house, including the Kirbys, because they're there, and even throughout all their protestations, they're like, "Listen, we'll sort it out later, but you're coming with us for now." That's where we get the scene in the jail where I think Mr. Vanderhoff is trying to kind of calm Mr. Kirby down, but yeah, then it comes out, he eventually realizes, Mr. Kirby, that Mr. Vanderhoff is the whole now. And then they just get this whole kind of ideological argument, but it's a really,
Yeah,
becomes essentially a screw match where Mr. Vanderhoff calls him scum, which is,
yeah,
yeah, that's obviously a pretty great line to go for, like in terms of just how kind of vicious it comes out, and like he does apologize for it. Now, in fairness, Mr. Kirby had provoked him quite a lot up to that point, but yeah, you
yeah,
just get that kind of whole ideological kind of argument of capitalist versus obviously kind of not even a socialist, more just like just kind of free kind of freewheeling kind of uh, yeah attitude towards life, shall we say?
yeah. One thing though that Kirby definitely picks up on is for all his non-paying of taxes and his other shortcomings, shall we say, intellectually, especially when it comes
Yeah,
to emotions. There's nobody more intelligent in this film than Mr. Vanderhoff. He's got some
definitely.
incredible lines. There's a great scene where he explains to Alice that the reason they've lived in this house for so long is because it's the house that her grandmother, his wife, died in, and that like when he still goes into the bedroom, he can still smell her, and that if he was to move out, it would be like him moving out on grandma, which is such a great scene. But again, yeah, he has that scene in the prison where he says to Kirby, "To me, you're a failure as a man, a failure as a human being, even a failure as a father." Like just cuts him deep.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's the whole prison thing where again he tells him that basically whenever he dies, no one will care and no one will shed a tear. Like he's going for Kirby. And if that wasn't true enough, when they're all brought out of the cell for their hearing, you've so many reporters who are there for Kirby because Kirby's this giant venture capitalist. Like everybody knows him. He's a celebrity, if anything. And they're all trying to get the scoop as to why he's in prison, but they don't even get in. And it's kind of like the audience expectation even is that the reason this courtroom is so packed is for people for Kirby, but then they actually pulled it under the rug, and it's actually all of Vanderhoff's neighbors have shown up in
yeah,
solidarity, and they all want to just check on him, and like he's got so many friends and so many people who care about him because he's done so many things for his neighbors, including holding down the fort and staying in his house as long as he has, which is kind of
yeah.
bought all of them time to kind of make amends
Get
or
their
make
own. Yeah,
decisions or whatever. But yeah, they don't get sentenced to prison or anything, but they do get fined $100 with the, and this is such a Frank Capra movie ism. One of
yeah,
my favorite isms
yeah,
is the Kirbys themselves will get away completely scot free if they can just explain what it was that they were actually doing in this house. Because as well as the IRS turning up, they were also I don't know, planning on doing a like Russian military style fireworks show, which which had the police thinking that they were communists. So whenever they come to arrest them all, the Alice's dad, I think it is, accidentally sets all the fireworks off in the basement and just causes fireworks to shoot everywhere. It's actually a very impressively shot scene of
yeah,
just these fireworks shooting at the windows and shooting at everyone. It's crazy. So yeah, it was a whole mess, public disturbance, everything. So if the Kirbys can just explain what they were doing there, then that would be enough of a reason for the judge to know that they're totally innocent. Because like, if he knew that they had nothing to do with the fireworks and the disturbing the peace and everything, then they get away with it. But Tony's mom absolutely will not let them admit that Tony is seeing this woman of an inferior family in the mother's opinion, so she will not let them explain that. And again, Kirby, and this can also be said for Tony, but to be fair to Kirby, AP Kirby, he goes to actually explain himself,
Yeah,
and
he
he
does.
goes to have the redeemable moment when Vanderhoff cuts him off and says, "No, no, I got this. He was coming over trying to buy the house off me." Instead of saying, obviously, that Tony and Alice are seeing each other and it was the parents hanging out with each other. And then we get the amazing bit then where Alice bursts through, berates Tony, being like, "Are you not going to speak up? Like, how dare you let them belittle me like this? Like, do you not think that I'm good enough for you just because your mom thinks that?" And yeah, everybody in the crowd is kind of rallying behind them, and the judge is like, "Okay, well, that's that explanation done, but I also have to find the Vanderhoffs $100." So again, AP Kirby goes to pay the $100. Again, he's trying to redeem himself in whatever ways he thinks he can, in this way by throwing money at a situation. But again, no, the whole crowd kind of swarm him, and they go up to the judge and they're like, "No, we got this," and they basically do a passing a hat around, like a, what do you call it, like a bucket, what's the expression?
Like a whip around.
Yeah, a whip around. That's it.
Yeah,
They do a whip around and they get the $100 together and they pay the fine for him. And all the press then burst in as Kirby's wife, Tony's mom, faints as well.
yeah,
So like it's this whole tabloid front page thing of Cinderella rejects Prince Charming,
yeah,
and the Kirbys have been humiliated in court. And look at this fool fainting in the courtroom. Obviously slagging the mom, but Alice hightails it. Then she leaves. She doesn't want anything to do with anyone because she's so disappointed, particularly in Tony and how he failed to stick up for her at any point. And Tony is fairly upset about this, and he comes over to the Van. I was going to say the Vanderhoff's house, but yeah, it is his house. To Vanderhoff's house to kind of make amends, but yeah, he's missed the boat.
yeah. Not only is Vanderhoff, obviously all this has happened, but Vanderhoff had actually turned down quite a large sum of money. I think it's at least 50 grand, which had the Kirby kind of corporation, for want of a whatever the company is called, had kept on offering him more and more money, but he kept holding out,
Mm-hmm.
holding out. Eventually, he says, "Okay, look, I see what this whole situation is doing to Alice, so I'm going to sell the house." So he calls up the Kirbys, but he only gets 25k, which is the original offer. So like, yeah, which obviously he could have had a lot more, and we obviously know for him it's not about the money. That's not why he
Mm-hmm.
was turning him down. But still, like, it would have been nice to have, at least if you're going to be kind of move out of your home, like, it would be nice obviously to have a little bit more money to kind of build new roots somewhere else. But yeah, Alice comes home a couple of days later when she realizes, obviously trying to persuade her grandfather not to sell up. But it turns out that Tony is there because Tony's gone to try and persuade Vanderhoff to tell him where Alice is. But wouldn't you know, Mr. Kirby is there as well, because that day he's gone through quite the ordeal where you could see like this big merger has been finally completed, but he starts to have like a real crisis of conscience where
Yeah,
he's like, has this all been worth it in the end? This is obviously what he's been working for, and he's finally got rid of that last house that was holding out, and he can finally start enacting all these plans. But wouldn't
there's
you know it,
also a guy,
Tony?
Mr. Ramsey, who
Yeah,
uh, in all of these mergers, there's always someone who misses out or someone who loses out. Mr.
yeah,
Ramsey in this case is the guy who gets fucked over by this whole merger and has a heart attack in the bathroom after the
yeah,
fact.
yeah.
Um,
I
so
don't think he
yeah,
does. Does he? I don't think he does.
no, he
But
does. Yeah, he does.
does he die? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
crap. That's, yeah, well, he dies. So that's another thing he has to contend with. For some reason, I thought he didn't. But anyway, yeah, Ramsey dies, and then when to kind of pour extra cement on the grave of his kind of dreams and stuff. Tony tells his dad that he doesn't want to take over as president of the company, and he wants to kind of go off and do his own thing. And obviously, we know he wants to go and try and be with Alice as well. So it's been a heck of a day for Mr. Kirby, and so they all kind of eventually they all find their way to the Vanderhoff house.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, by this point, the house is all cleared out. It's a few days after the fact. But then we get that kind of incredible ending with Mr. Van Hoff and Mr. Kirby, where Tony and Alice are upstairs, kind of trying to patch things up. But yeah, we kind of get this moment of kind of shared humanity, which again, as you say, is kind of typical of a Frank Capra movie.
Yeah, it's also a scene that shows the kind of genius of the Vanderhoff character, because he says a certain thing, but you can tell what he actually means, and only the audience knows what he actually means. So, as I said earlier, Kirby recognizes by now that Vanderhoff is a pro at this whole having emotions thing. So he comes to him for advice on how to kind of win his son back, or at least how to like see the world through his son's eyes and understand that, you know, his son's right, he's wrong, and he's basically spent his whole life, you know, doing what Vanderhoff didn't. There's also worth noting when he goes to the meeting to finalize the merger, he goes up the lift
Yeah.
and the doors open and everyone starts applauding him. It's so great. Everyone starts applauding him. And then he says, "Take me back down." And it's a clear nod to the Vanderhoff line. That is obviously his moment where he has accepted that life is about more than just finances and capital and power. But yeah, he sits down in this now empty shell of a home because everything's been moved out, and he asks Vanderhoff how he can get his son back. And in a reference to earlier in the film, Vanderhoff takes out his harmonica, and because that was the one thing that they had in common was they both played the harmonica. And he says, "Do you still have the harmonica I gave you?" Because he slipped the harmonica into his pocket in prison. And he pulls it out and says, "Funnily enough, I do." And he says, "Well, if you play that, he'll come back to you." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Trust me, if you play that, he'll come back to you. I'll start and you join in." And he starts and he joins in. And then upstairs, Tony and Alice hear this like mad harmonica duet going on downstairs, so they come down the stairs. And then again, it's just great shot of Kirby when he sees his son coming down the stairs and he realizes,
That's
you
what I
are a
meant.
genius. It is such a great epiphany moment. And everybody, I was gonna say everybody lives happily ever after, but there's a scene after which is also very funny. Everybody then, you know, is merry, very Frank Capra scene, real wholesome stuff. He also gets one back in on the Russian, and attitude adjustments him back as well, which is great. And such a great callback. And then they have a big dinner. Again, another great callback. This is how things were supposed to be the first time they met. And we get a great speech from Vanderhoff, who basically commends Kirby for, you know, his switch around. Says every kind word under the sun about Tony, and says that they're almost there with Mrs. Kirby, and it pans to her, and she's just fucking miserable. She hates it there. She'll never like those people.
No,
The end. But yeah, that's it. Worth noting as well, it's the first of two, shall I say, Academy Award for Best Picture winners to have also been a Pulitzer Prize winning play. Can you name the other one, Shay?
interesting. From this month, you mean?
No, in history, there's only been two
Right. Okay.
Best Picture winners that were adapted from Pulitzer Prize winning plays.
Interesting.
Say that 5 times real fast.
What decade was it? Give me a hint.
Let me just absolutely confirm. I was gonna say 80s, but I could be wrong. Yeah, 80s.
80s. Give me the year.
89.
89. Damn. Still drawing a blank here.
It features one Jessica Tandy, who was in The Birds.
Still nothing.
Dan Aykroyd. And what'll give it away, Morgan Freeman.
Not ringing a bell. I mustn't have seen this.
Oh, Driving Miss Daisy.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Driving Miss Daisy, but yeah.
Yeah, me neither. Apparently, it's like one of most people's least favorite Best Picture winners, actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I've heard it's a bit of a yeah. It's not exactly
yeah,
a popular choice.
um, yeah. Also worth noting, the Pulitzer Prize winning play had, I think, 19 characters. This has like 157.
Yeah,
I think it's 157. So again, very Frank Capra to just pile the lads all in there. Just pile them all in.
just giving
We'll
it.
get you a line somewhere. We'll get you a line
Yeah,
somewhere.
he's just like just sharing love. He's just like, I'll get you money. I'll get you on screen. I'll get you on
Yeah,
front.
yeah, yeah. Just get everyone a job in there. Yeah, you could be an accountant who has a singular line. Why not? Yeah, that is. You can't take it with you. Again, really liked it. As you all know, the regular listeners of the podcast, I do like a Frank Capra movie. So I do. I find his movies quite cheerful. They restore your faith in humanity sometimes. Sometimes they're a bit too breachy, don't get me wrong, but some of them, the likes of Mr. Deeds Goes to Town and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, that have that little bit of oomph in them as well. Yeah, they're the class ones. But this is a very good one, don't get me wrong. 3.5 stars. Very much enjoyed it. It is by no means the greatest Jimmy Stewart performance of all time, but he's good in it. It is by no means the greatest Jean Arthur performance of all time, but she's very good in it. Lionel Barrymore kills it. He is so good in this film. Early contender for Best Supporting Actor of the entire year, and we're only just about becoming 25% way of our way into the year, if you look at it just by arcs, not actual days. Shane, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. I gave it 3 stars. Did enjoy it. Frank Capra movies do tend to grow on me, so I'm not sure if it'll be anytime soon. But if I do rewatch this, I'm sure it will probably go up in my estimation.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenic and Old Lace would probably be my favorite Frank Capra movie that I've seen. I absolutely love that movie. But yeah, it's funny, it's zany, it's quirky, kooky, all those words. And it's just got your regular kind of normal, heartwarming message at the center of most Frank Capra movies, which is just kind of be yourself and just kind of do your own thing and don't
Yeah,
let the system bog you down. So yeah, who can't co-sign that message?
fantastic. Right. Will we do a rapid fire round of I know Shane's under a bit of time pressure, but we have I think 11 minutes here. Will we do a rapid fire guess the movie?
We'll do one round each because I do have to kind of head.
Okay,
We'll
perfect.
do one round, yeah.
Right. You have one there prepared already, don't you?
I do, yeah, yeah.
Right. If you want to show the camera.
Hopefully it focuses. I think that's hopefully that focuses. I think that's good enough anyway. Yep, go ahead.
Right. Is this a film that either of us have seen?
Yes.
Is this a film that only I have seen?
Yes.
Interesting. Is this a film from the 30s or 40s?
Yes.
Is this a film from the 40s?
No.
Oh, okay. Right, let me pull up the old letterboxed. 30s films that I've seen that Shane hasn't. Off the top of my head, before I kind of look at it, I'm thinking, wow, God. Okay, I didn't realize I'd seen as many 30s films as I have. Right, is this a film from 1935 onwards?
No.
Okay, so it's from the first half of the 30s. So, films I've seen that Shane hasn't: The Divorcee, Murder, Spanish Dracula, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Freaks, White Zombie, American Madness. How many questions have I asked so far?
5.
Right, I think there's only 2 ways of me narrowing this down. Is this a Frank Capra film?
No.
Is this a horror film?
Yes. I believe so.
Okay. So, right, we're kind of... Oh, no, it's a...
So you have to guess now. Give you 7
Yeah.
questions.
And it could be a lot of films.
Yeah, you have seen a lot of 30s horrors in fairness.
Yeah, oh dear. I'm just going to go right off the bat. I'm not going to mess around. I'm just going to say Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Are you joking me? That's close.
Yes! Gets in. The only reason I picked it is because I went in and saw that it was on your watch list, and I was like, there we go. That's an indicator, potentially.
It's also
Gets
because
in.
Frederick March is in it, who was obviously also in The Best Years of Our Lives, which we'll be covering
Next week.
next week, yeah. So I wanted to kind of do a little preview of that.
Oh, fantastic. What is that? Does that make it a
That's
tie?
level.
Or
Yeah, that's level now between us, yeah.
Oh, he's clawed it back.
Yeah, you were 3 down a few weeks ago, so fair play.
Yeah. Right, I have mine as well. I picked mine fairly fast, so I will show it to the camera. That's actually focused already. Wow, it never focuses that fast. Right, good to go.
Yeah. Is this a film that only one of us has seen?
Yes.
Is this a film that only I have seen?
Yes.
Is this a film from the 30s or 40s?
No.
Is this a film from the 50s?
From the 50s?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I've only seen it from the 50s. Just pop open Letterboxd. Is this a Billy Wilder movie?
It is not.
No. You've seen a lot of 50s movies I've seen, which probably is good because it narrows it down. Is this a John Ford movie?
It is not.
Right, so it's not The Last Hurrah.
It is not The Last Hurrah.
Is this a film noir?
It is not. You're going to have to guess.
Oh shit, I had one more. Crap. Right. I'm stuck between High Noon. It could be a Hitchcock movie. Crap. Didn't think to ask that. You've seen Monkey Business, so it's not that.
I have seen Monkey Business.
I'm stuck between High Noon or The Kane Mutiny. They're my two kind of main options that I'm zeroing in on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Kiss Me Deadly, because that's a film noir. It's not Double Jeopardy. Killer's Kiss. Have you seen Killer's Kiss? You have not seen Killer's Kiss. It could be Killer's Kiss. Stanley Kubrick. I'm going to say High Noon. I'm going to lock in High Noon.
Well, I don't know. I feel like this is less frustrating for you, is that it's actually not a film that you mentioned. So I feel like I feel like it's more frustrating when it is a film you've mentioned.
What is it?
This is an Alfred Hitchcock film that I have not seen.
I was going to say, is it I Confess or Stage Fright? One of those two.
It is Stage Fright.
Oh, God. I literally had Stage Fright. I was looking at it and I was like,
It is Stage Fright. The film in which Patricia Hitchcock plays a character named Chubby Bannister.
Yeah, she does actually.
So yeah, I think that means we're level.
It does, yeah.
Again,
it does.
One day when I don't have a mountain of assignments and episodes of the podcast to edit, I will set aside the time to find out what the score is. But if I'm being honest with you guys, that time is not near. That time is not close. But there will be a post on Instagram, and it will be a glorious post. In the meantime, though, that was the episode of the Golden Hour Film Podcast where we covered Frank Capra's You Can't Take It With You. Next week is, as Shane said, The Best Years of Our Lives from William Wyler, our 1940s Best Picture winner we are covering this year. For Academy Classics Volume 2. Thank you very much. Leave a like on the video if you're watching on YouTube. Leave a rating if you're listening to us on any audio platform. Give us a 5 stars if you can. And in the meantime, thank you very much. I've been Harry Bailey.
I've been Shane Mulvaney.
And we will see you all next week for the best years of our lives. Goodbye.